Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 129. Before we start off, click that like button if you enjoy this type of content and tell your friends. So, today I'm doing another one of my revisiting forgotten bands. And when I say forgotten for this one, I'm really digging deep in this one here. I'm actually curious to see if anybody and that's watching this actually knows these guys. So I'm talking about the band Teaze with a Z or a Z, depending on which country you're in here. So I'll be honest. When I grew up, I never even heard the name. It wasn't until I saw them in this book by Martin Popoff, the 70s, I believe, was it? Anyway, I saw the cover and I was like, okay, I'll never heard it, but you know what? I'll give it a shot. I think I found it used. Anyway, I forget where I. Yeah, here we go. So anyway, they're all here. Anyway, so found out about that there, and it was like you read his reviews, and it's a good. These books, by the way, there if you want to look into like getting all discographies of every band out there in the metal realm. I'm talking about the main metal, and subgenres and all that. These are books are great. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. I guess there's a 2010s coming out soon there, but we'll see. But before we start off, cheers to you guys. All right. So Teaze. So I could have actually just, these guys are so not popular. Like I didn't know about them until I read that book. Then I was like, why bother? And then I've been listening to them this week, and I was like, you know what? These guys are actually pretty freaking good. So why not try to? Because they did. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. They did regroup. So they're formed in 1975 in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. For all you non-Canadian watchers out there in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, South America. I assume there's somebody from South America watching here. So we've got, they're, if you're wondering where Windsor is, just at the border of Ontario and Canada. You know where Detroit is? If you go across the border, that's where Windsor is, right there. I had to go to Windsor one time just to go to Detroit to go see Kiss there. So anyway, let's talk about Teaze with a Z or a Z. So formed in 1975 in Windsor. You had Brian Danter on lead vocals and bass. Chuck Price on vocals and guitar. Mark Bradak on vocals and guitar also. And Mike Kozak on drums. So they released their first album on Force One Records, just entitled Teaze, I believe. Yes. Or Force One was. Talk about a weird place to put the. Looks like the album is called Force One, but I think it's. So anyway, Teaze, the self-titled debut. Again, some great. I compare. If you're wondering how these sound, well, you can always go to YouTube. I find them about like stars with a Z or a Z. What is it with these Z's and the ZZs? These Z bands. I remember asking my friend Steve if he calls ZZ Top in New Zealand ZZ Top. Anyway. So anyway, here's their first album, Teaze, self-titled. Here's the back cover. I guess they didn't have their official logo. I guess their logo lasted 2 or 3 albums only. They have 4 studio albums and a live album, which I'll get to. So anyway, here's their first one, Teaze. second one, they got signed to Aquarius Records. Before we start off, there we go. And released the album On the Loose. This is actually very good. I like this one a lot here. So here's the inside. Yeah, the great stuff on this one here. I actually like this album a lot. So they're touring Canada and all that. Not much happening, to be honest. Like, again, this is according to... It was tough to do research on this band because there's hardly anything. So apparently they're touring... This is 1978. Yeah, Aquarius Records here. So On the Loose, their second one. Yeah, touring Canada. Not much visibility or whatnot. So they're like super down and blah, blah, blah. Somehow they managed to get a tour of Japan. Well, this is where it, I guess, sort of started happening for these guys here. So they went to Japan for, I guess, a 10-day or 10-night tour. They recorded it, which was the album Tour of Japan. And actually, it's a pretty cool... This is actually the first one I got. Because I remember seeing it in the book. I bought this how many years ago? I forget. But actually, the album, the live album, is actually pretty cool. And I don't usually talk about live albums, but you know what? This one's actually pretty cool. So here we go, Mark. So it's kind of like it's a gatefold, but not really a gatefold, like a book. So there you go. Anyway, it's like a greatest hits of live album of their first two albums here. There you go. The singer, yeah. Anyway, this is kind of where they started happening. So here's Teaze Tour of Japan, a live album. First thing I ever got from them, and actually very decent live album. I guess if you compared them to, it's like one of those albums like Strangers in the Night or Kiss Alive 1. But, I mean, you never heard of Teaze. It's as good as someone like... It's that good for someone, like it's really good for someone you never heard of. So anyway, after that live album, stuff started happening. So they met with Miles Goodwin from April Wine. So they released this one here, One Night Stands, which is actually friggin' great album. It's probably, not probably, it is my favorite of them. This is 1979, yes. So, and I forget which movie. There's a Canadian movie. Has Heartless World. Heartless World is probably... Heartless World and Gonna Have a Good Time Tonight. Probably my favorite Teaze song. Or songs. So this one was produced again on Aquarius Records by Miles Goodwin from April Wine. But again, didn't do anything here in, I guess, Canada. I'm not sure if they toured. This is where the information is getting very... there's not much on the internet, like Wikipedia, regarding these guys here, unfortunately. So, One Night Stands, Teaze, I will still say this is my favorite album. Then, last album in 1980. Another logo change. Of course, you got the kid looking at the Playboy. Well, it's a Playboy font, obviously, there. Decent album, not my favorite here. But, yeah, there's the last album, and apparently this is where it all went to shit. Because they disbanded right after, so this is the last album they ever did. The Miles Goodwin from, again, April Wine decided to produce a greatest hits, which was their best-selling album. I forget what it was called there. It's not the best of Teaze, but anyway, a night of Teaze. I forget what it was there. So anyway, even after like the disbanding, like even the singer left, they couldn't find a replacement. Aquarius Records said, you know what, let's just cancel the contract here, and that was it. 1980 until 2009, when they reunited. There's no new records. I checked. They also added a new keyboard / guitar player, Charlie Lambrick. They now have a Facebook page. What's going on with these guys, I'm not sure. I would actually go see these guys live. I do like them. Like, I'm not going to say that they invented anything there. I'm not saying that at all. But if you want a good greatest hits, get this one. This is actually a very, very good live album here. So, Tour of Japan. And if you're just looking for some good studio albums, get these two right here. One Night Stands and On the Loose. These are great. Like, great hard rock albums here. Well, rock. Verging on hard rock, I guess, there. So, yeah, check it out. On the Loose. So, if you're curious about the band, check out these two ones. But if you're just looking for a good greatest hits there, I guess their greatest hits that was produced by Miles Goodwin, which I don't have because I have all the albums here. But if you're new to it there, this is actually a very good live album here. So that's my story regarding Teaze. I'm actually curious. Do you guys actually know this band here? I've known about them by name because of that book. But, oh my God, I think I got that live album from Japan maybe 5-6 years ago when I had maybe less than 50 vinyls. I had just found that and I was like, oh, it's actually pretty good here. And of course, you're getting more into collecting vinyls. I'm like, okay, I need to get all these Teaze albums. I think I even got One Night Stands on CD. Rock Candy Records, I believe, reissued it. So anyway, just to show you that was their bigger seller, I guess, there. So anyway, that's my little episode on Teaze from Windsor, Canada. Where's Windsor? Right across the pond from Detroit. That's in the U.S., by the way. So anyway, let me know if you're you know these guys, if you like them, if you don't like them, whatnot. I'm just here to hopefully renew some interest into these forgotten bands, and this one was really forgotten, as in hardly known. I'm curious, did you actually guys know these guys? So, anyway, on that note, have yourselves a good whatever, day, night, twilight, lunch, and we shall see you guys next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.